In the small town of Nashua, New Hampshire, the wind always carried a kind of quiet. The streets weren't busy enough to lose yourself in, nor so silent that you'd feel completely alone. But for 20-year-old Amy Boyer, that October afternoon felt different. It was supposed to be another routine day, classes, then work at the oral surgery clinic on Main Street. But in the shadows, behind the ordinary rhythm of her life, someone was waiting, watching, calculating, and he had been 4 years. She didn't see him that day, or the day before, or any day before that because he didn't want her to. Not until it was too late. He wasn't a stranger. Not completely. His name was Liam Youens. He'd been there in the background, quietly, obsessively, since high school. Just a face in the hallway. A name she might have barely remembered. But in his mind, Amy wasn't just a girl he'd once known. She was everything, and he had made a decision to end her life. A backstory: Nashua High School. The bell rings, sneakers squeak against tiled floors, and laughter bounces off the lockers. Amy Boyer is one of those girls who seem to glow from the inside. Smart, kind, easy to talk to. Not popular in the superficial sense, but memorable in a way that lingers. Liam was quieter, pale, withdrawn, always hanging back, never quite fitting in. He watched Amy from afar. He admired her, maybe even fantasized about her, but he never truly spoke to her, not in any meaningful way. To him, Amy was an ideal, something flawless, something his fractured sense of self clung to. After graduation, most people move on. College, careers, and new cities. But Liam didn't. He stayed. And so did the obsession. Years after high school, Amy has a new rhythm. Classes, her part-time job at a dental office, friends, and her boyfriend. She's moving forward. But in the dark corners of the internet, still unregulated, still new, Liam is digging, searching, building something no one can see. His obsession has metastasized. He creates a website. On it, he begins to detail his thoughts, his fantasies, his hatred, his justifications. First, it's vague, rambly, easy to dismiss as the ventings of a lonely man. But it escalates. He writes about Amy, not by name at first, then clearly, boldly, publicly. He pays a data broker, a simple online transaction, to obtain her social security number, her workplace, her schedule, her location. No password, no hacking, just cash. A few weeks before October 15th, 1999, Liam types out a sentence in a quiet room, his screen glowing pale blue. "I finally found where she works. I'm going to kill her." Then he hits publish. The post goes live. No one notices. No one warns her. No one stops him. But he had made up his mind, and he would follow through. October 15th, 1999. It was a Friday, the kind of day that carries the soft sigh of the weekend approaching. The leaves had turned orange and gold in Nashua, and the sidewalks wore the first true signs of autumn. Amy Boyer was finishing up her shift at Dr. Robert Elliott's oral surgery clinic. She had been working there part-time while studying psychology at a nearby college. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a routine she liked. At 4:45 p.m., she stepped out of the office alongside a coworker. They were laughing, chatting, talking about the weekend. She never noticed the car idling just across the street, but someone inside that car saw her. He had been waiting for hours. Liam Youens sat in the front seat of his 1987 Honda Civic, a black baseball cap pulled low over his eyes, a borrowed 9mm semi-automatic pistol in his lap, and in the glove compartment, a copy of his suicide note. Liam had mapped out everything. His online journal, discovered later, revealed a meticulously crafted blueprint. He wrote of his hatred for Amy, how she had wronged him, how she was fake, how he wanted to watch her die. But Amy never harmed Liam. She didn't even truly know him. He wasn't planning to hurt her because of something she did. He was planning to kill her because of what he imagined her to be. In Liam's warped world, Amy Boyer had become a symbol of rejection, of everything he couldn't have, and that symbol had to be destroyed. Amy walked toward her car. She didn't know he was behind her. She didn't hear the car door open. The footfalls quicken. The metal is rising. Then, bang, bang, bang. 3 shots hit Amy from behind. She collapsed. Liam stood over her, and in a final brutal act, shot her in the head at close range. She died on the pavement, in daylight. No chance. No warning. As the panic erupted, co-workers screaming, neighbors rushing out of houses. Liam walked back to his car. Calm. He sat inside, pulled out the gun, and turned it on himself. 1 shot. It was over. 2 lives, 1 innocent, 1 deeply disturbed, erased in a matter of seconds. But what would unravel in the weeks that followed would horrify the nation. Police arrived within minutes. What looked like a senseless shooting at first quickly revealed its twisted underbelly. Inside Liam's car, they found a printed copy of his multi-page manifesto, uploaded online, his suicide note, and detailed surveillance of Amy's routines, work schedule, and personal information. What shocked investigators most wasn't just the crime, it was how easy it had been to orchestrate. Amy's personal data had been bought for a few dollars from a website. Her life was taken with a plan that had been publicly available online, and no one had seen it coming. The next morning, October 16, 1999, the residents of Nashua awoke to a nightmare fully bloomed. The front pages carried a name most had never heard before, Liam Youens. But in his mind, he had been screaming for years, and now the entire country was about to hear him. Inside Liam's computer, investigators found a website hosted under a pseudonym, The Story of a Boy. What began as cryptic musings soon unfolded into a window into madness. He had written everything. How he met Amy in high school. How he developed a crush that twisted into fixation. How he began stalking her, offline and online. How he spent months watching, planning, and waiting. He detailed his hatred, his jealousy, his rage. I used to be obsessed with her. I wanted her to like me. But now, I just want her to die. And then the most chilling part. I've planned this for a long time. By the time you read this, she'll be dead. And so will I. The website had been live before the shooting, but almost no one saw it until it was too late. As the FBI and local authorities traced his steps, a shocking detail emerged. Liam didn't know Amy's schedule by chance. He had bought her information, her address, her social security number, her workplace, from an online data broker. The cost? $45. A faceless company had collected and sold her private data to anyone with a credit card and an internet connection. Amy had no idea, no warning, no chance to protect herself, and her family was devastated. In the weeks following the murder, Bill and Diane Boyer spoke to the media. What hurt the most wasn't just that their daughter had been hunted. It was that someone had sold her. Bill Boyer told CNN, "My daughter's life was stolen for $45. I want to know how this is legal." Their grief ignited national outrage. The idea that private information could be sold to strangers without consent, without restriction, shocked the public. And it raised a chilling question. How many other obsessed strangers were out there, just a click away from finding someone else? In the aftermath, the Boyers turned their pain into a mission. They pushed for legislative change. They testified before Congress. They demanded that no other family go through what they did. Their campaign sparked momentum for what would become the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, a federal law that imposed restrictions on how financial institutions collect and share personal data. It wasn't a perfect fix, but it was a start. Amy's name was now etched into the legal history of privacy reform. Amy Boyer was bright. She was studying psychology. She had dreams, plans, a future. And Liam, you might say, was a ghost long before that day. A young man lost in digital delusions, convinced the world owed him something for his loneliness. Their story was not one of romance or tragedy. It was a story of obsession. One-sided, violent, preventable. A reminder that the internet doesn't just connect us. It exposes us. And sometimes the person watching isn't just watching. Thanks for watching. Like what you heard. Subscribe for more true crime stories that cut deep. This is Trace of Evil, where ordinary people leave extraordinary scars.